my story is, growing up as a kid, I've always looked around and tried to ask the question why and what it is that we're looking for. What are we really looking for? What are we trying to get? And I found out that we always want to be happy. We just want to be happy. In my grandfather's funeral, I remember looking and listening, and other friends' funerals, I was noticing that what we really remember of them is how happy they were, how much they smiled, what they gave us in terms of measures of happiness and meaning. And really it is what we're looking for. We're looking for happiness. If we measure it in pleasure or in meaning, we just want to feel good, we want to feel happy. Sometimes we get caught in this race of money, because we start thinking that money is going to make us happy, and then we forget that we're looking to be happy and we stay with the money and we just run after money. Sometimes we think that respect is going to make us happy, so we try and get more and more respect, and on the way we forget that we want to be happy and we just stay with the goal of respect. We forget that what we wanted is to be happy. So I asked a lot of questions and slowly got to positive psychology. What it is that makes positive psychology significant? Why is it not part of the mainstream of psychology? What it is that led Tal Ben-Shahar, Ellen Langer, Marty Seligman to be researchers who focused on this field and give it a different title. Professor David Mayers from Hope College looked at the psychology of stress for 33 years in the year 2000 and tried to check what are the words that repeat themselves in the articles. He found that anger is about 5,000 times, anxiety 41,000 times, depression around 54,000 times, but joy appeared 400 times, happiness 1,000 times, life satisfaction 2,000 times. There's a huge difference and a huge gap between the negative research that was done and the positive research that is out there. The ratio is actually 21 to 1. Think about how crazy it is, what we're looking for, and if we would actually experience that, it could be nuts. Think about half an hour a day of being happy, and the rest of the day being unhappy. Could we live like that? Or what if I tell you you could be one day happy and 21 days unhappy? No one would want that. But this is the research that's done today. And truly so, because we experience more and more negative phenomena today. If you look at the abstract and research shows that depression today is 10 times higher than the 1960s. Mean age for depression today is 14.5. 45% of college students nationwide are depressed. 94% overwhelmed. More than before today, there is negativity, cynicism, and we're going to try and find out why it is so. There's a rat race of today. We'll speak about it. Not enough time, too much to do. Abraham Maslow already spoke about it and stated that psychology until today really was working on, been more successful on the negative and the positive side. It has revealed us, I'm quoting, it revealed us much about men's shortcomings, illness, sin, but little about his potentialities, his virtues, his achievable aspirations, or his psychological height. And, positive psychology is taking the pendulum and shifting it. Marty Seligman, the head of the Psychology Association and the head of Penn University Research of Positive Psychology, writes, the aim of positive psychology is to catalyze a change in psychology from a preoccupation only with repairing the worst things in life to also building the best qualities in life. And that's what is positive psychology is about. And I'm going to try and bring that in these short segments and further them more. We've spoken about the studies of how many are depressed and how much there's more depression. So maybe you think that there needs to be more research on depression. And today the NIH really subsidizes a lot more of negative research on the negative aspects. And there's a whole phenomena of an obsession today to study the negative phenomena. But what we focus on is what we're going to really see. The Eisenberg uncertainty principle shows that what we research more is what we'll experience more. And it has to be that when you research a phenomenon more, you affect it more. Kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You could see that studying illness focuses on illness and increases illness feelings and illness situations. But if you turn this spiral around of negative research, negative feelings, and you start studying positive, and you study positive research, and you get to more positive experiences. And those positive experiences lead to more positive research, which leads to more positive experiences. And the opposite on negative. Negative experience leads to negative research, which leads to negative experiences. It's an endless spiral. Human systems go in the directions of what they persistently ask questions about. This is Dr. Salman Shafak. Think about it in a personal level. When a friend comes over and tells you, "Oh, you look so bad today, you look so depressed, what happened?" Or if a friend comes to you and says, "You look amazingly happy, what is it about?" You know how you'd feel. The questions we ask really affect our life. Psychology till today was focused on fixing from zero, from -5 to get to 0. Let's just not be depressed. Positive psychology says it's not about not being depressed, it's not about being in the status quo. You could be +5. You don't need to try and get from -5 to 0. You could get from 0 to +5. And this is what we're going to try and bring here about. In the next session, I'm going to speak a little bit more about what we're going to go into study, a short preview, and what are the approaches and basic premises of positive psychology. Stay tuned.